Gauntlet Hangouts event. We're playing Ultraviolet Grasslands by Luca Rejec. I have three awesome players with me. We're also playing Whitehack by Christian Meerstam. We made characters, which was a bit of a pain in the ass, I guess. But now we have three really cool characters. And I would like to start the session with Nida. The last time we saw you, you were sitting on the roof of. So maybe describe the scenery a little bit. We're in the middle of the cinder wastes. So there's this dark ground. There are dust storms rushing in. It's other than that, it's a clear sky. It's relatively hot. It's the 6th month of the year, so it's well in spring, and we see in the middle of the area like a rock, a pretty big rock, and on the rock there's this palace made from porcelain in a very unusual shape, but the porcelain is smooth. And around the rock, there are huts, like mud huts and caves attached to the rock. There's a winding road that goes up the rock, leading up to the palace, but the steps are guarded. And Nida sits on one of these roofs. There's, I think, behind her is a pigeon coop. And the last time Nida turned, it looks like a crystal snail in her hands. So, Puckett, can you describe how Nida looks like?
Nida's a yellow lander and usually has a cloak on her, which is it's multi-purpose. It's not just a concealer. It's something that protects her from elements. It's something that she can use as a blanket. She can use it as a coat. She can use it to cover her face and wrap it around her mouth and nose to prevent toxic chemicals or unfortunate odors from getting into her system. It's very utilitarian and multi-purpose. But you can see that there's something missing. And Nida keeps turning this crystal snail over in her hands, looking at it and thinking about, well, the people who didn't make it this far.
Thank you. And then we have Hamish. I think when we see Hamish for the first time, he's probably, I'm not sure, you tell me, leaning on a pretty evil-looking motorbike. Can you describe Hamish, please?
Hamish is a big, brawny dude, dressed in sort of like, I think, like combat trousers and his duskweave jacket over the top of that, with this huge black sword strapped across his back and bound in like cloth. And Hamish is has got a shaved stubbled head. I think at the moment tied in a bandana with a bandana on it, but he's got this sort of like bushy, close cropped beard. Like it's thick, but it's close to his face. But it's been dyed like rainbow colors, which is where the McRainbow part of his name comes along in one of the freak reactions that happens to the industrial waste of the Redlands.
We know that Hamish, back in the Redlands, is a pretty popular figure, made popular in songs and stories of his heroic deeds. Is that colorful beard, is that part of the persona, like Sherlock Holmes, the hat, or Robin Hood, the bow? What is the most recognizable feature of Hamish in the songs?
Oh, it's the rainbow beard. you know,
Must be
like
the rainbow beard.
with the colors flashing, he jumps into the, he freed me kind of thing. And we knew who it was because of the colors, like in his hair, like.
And I think that there's like a rainbow, like a rainbow lander with like a spiky armor and a sloppy Mohawk, and he passes you, and then he turns around, and then he says, "Hamish, no way! You need to go to the this place burns faster. Come on!" And he slaps you on the shoulder and drags you, if you let him.
Yes, Hamish is always up for a peek at whatever's, whatever the action is. That's where Hamish is.
And so we see the two of them disappearing to a lakeside club that has been mentioned as this place burns faster. And then we have our third character. Chris, can you describe Saffron?
Saffron is a machine human. Machine humans are kind of these nondescript, humanish looking people. And Saffron specifically is kind of unassuming, medium build. Their skin is this kind of tacky silicone material in this like middling gray. But Saffron wears these deep green brown robes with a hood that is down around their neck right now because they're in town. And on their face, Saffron has applied these silicone paints for this kind of ruddy red gradient down their cheeks as a way of kind of painting on who they are and letting people know. And Saffron is a black gold industrialist. They're seeking out this precious resource, which is used as a reagent, spellcasting component, and ritual piece. But right now they're a little down on their luck.
And so Saffron also has a furry animate kite.
Saffron on their back is kind of carrying, so they have their pack that's slung over one, and then next to it is this weird kind of like crinkly, hard kite. It's like, it looks kind of like that weird, like off angle square kite that you would normally, like you're flying a kite literally. But it has like scales, but then on top of the scales, it has this little like waving furry cilia all over it. And it has this, this lashes of cord coming off of it that Saffron keeps attached to their belt.
And we haven't really talked about what it does, though. So what do you think
we did discuss that maybe I can kind of fly with it or glide or those kinds of things.
And it is animate, but not conscious. It's not a creature.
No, it's kind of like, I picture it like a jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
Jellyfish can move around, and you could maybe send signals to a jellyfish to make it do something or another. But you'd be hard-pressed to call a jellyfish conscious, or more than just like action-reaction level.
All right. And so what do you guys want to do? There are several options. You can always say, fuck this porcelain citadel. It's much too fancy for us and really expensive. We stay for the night and then we move on. You can, let's see, you can do market research to find out if one of the commodities that you have is worth much more in a different settlement. You can try to sell your goods. You would have to haggle for it, obviously. You can heal. I don't know if the only person who would have to heal is probably Nida, if that is something she has to do. You could theoretically carouse, which, because the city is so expensive, would be really expensive, but also the benefits would be potentially really high. But I don't think that you have the money. You would have to sell first. You could theoretically study something, or you could become a customer, like a regular in one of the establishments. I can maybe describe the establishments very quickly. There's the Unbowed Cardinal, which is a Steplander barbecue place. There's the Black House, which is like a super fancy, slightly S&M club. There's the Your Life Burns Faster, which is a mixture between like a Paris intellectual revolutionary cafe and the Berghain in Berlin, with dungeons, that kind of dungeons. And if you want to stay somewhere relatively cheap, there's the Broken Line, where slaves stay. And then there's the Houses of Many Colors, which are, for example, where Nida sold last time the electric worm that she fought. So these are places where you can just stay to sleep somewhere, or you can pick one of these other three places: the Unbowed Cardinal, the Your Life Burns Faster, or the Black House, to become a regular. So let's start with Nida. What are you up to?
Have I gotten paid for the entries that I sent off to? Oh God, the woman doing the travel.
Yeah, you haven't.
Mencia.
Yeah, you would have to. Yeah, we can just say that you, picked a caravan that was moving back to the Violet City and handed over your notes, but you haven't got anything back from her yet.
Okay. Are there any messages from the Legion of the Farsight?
So the last message that you got was that the Redlander caravan is still on the loose, but no, specific information for you.
I guess what I'm going to do then is see if anybody's looking to hire, because I know we are running a little short on cash for the caravan.
That is another thing that you can do. You can work for like normal wages. So the work that you could do in the Porcelain Citadel is you could work in the cherry orchard. That would be, cutting trees for the spring. You could also work at the Broken Line, which is it's pretty grim job. You would have to bury the used bodies of the porcelain princes. Go through who's still living and who's not living, is just thrown into a mass grave, and who's still living gets some nutrition to keep them alive. That's the two jobs that they are available.
What do they pay?
let's see, what is the normal rate? I would say, 1 second. I'd say they pay for the whole week 25.
Same amount for both?
Yes. I want to say 25 is for the broken line and 15 is for the orchard.
These are things we could all do, right? As far as
Yes,
jobs go.
yes, working
Yeah.
working is something.
I mean, you know, I personally am thinking like this place does seem a bit rich for our money, like, but maybe we should see what we can get out of it while we're here and then leave. You know what I mean? Like, give it one try and then go, kind of thing. Like, I think that so far it's sounding like I could either go to the Burns Faster and become a thing there, go off the back of what you said about being pulled over there. And since you said it and that was a prompt in the fiction, let's go with that. But if we, I guess I don't really have a grasp on how like important the money is yet, kind of thing, and whether 25 gold is like 20 gold is even worth bothering with. You know what I mean? So like mechanically, maybe I think that Hamish wouldn't mind getting his hands dirty in that way, but we'll go with the establishment. Like, so I don't know what that entails, but I'm happy to wait until we've established the things.
Okay. Cool. So, neither.
It occurs to me that given how you've described the broken line, there's probably not a lot of people who do that work.
No.
And it, I think, would probably be of a bit of interest to Mencia for her travelogue. So
the shock value.
That, as well as this being a side that most people won't see of the Porcelain Citadel. So as I'm wandering around throughout the week, making notes and taking sketches of the Porcelain Citadel and documenting the places that are there, this sounds like an interesting opportunity. And I might as well go ahead and take that just because it'll be good experience in a way.
Awesome. And you will work there for the whole week.
I assume that's something on the order of normal business hours, or like a normal 8 by 5. So there's time to wander around and sketch and shop and resupply and such.
Definitely.
Because I know one thing that I really need to do is get another unit of the VC healing lotion. I used mine on Nat last time after that horrible fight. So that'll take 40 coins out of my inventory.
And what would Saffron do the week?
Well, I think two things that come to mind, and we can see how this fits in with the Porcelain City. Given the nature of the caravan, Saffron would probably check in with the Cogflower Church if there are any representatives here.
Yeah, there's a small chapel.
As first order business. That might turn into there's more stuff that the Cogflower wants some of us to do while we're here, or that might just be a, hey, we're here, FYI. The other piece that Saffron would poke around at would be, Hamish did say, this is a little rich for our blood, but rich people tend to have weird and varied interests, and Saffron would be interested in hearing about rumors of anyone who builds prosthetics or artificial bodies, or
Mhm.
might be like some weird people, but that could be good.
So what you know about the porcelain princesses is that they are polybodied, which means that one entity has up to 100 bodies that act in unison, and you also know that they operate the porcelain walkers, which we have described a little bit like AT-ATs when they're big, and when they're small, there's the two-legged ones from Star Wars, but made from porcelain, obviously. You also know that there is a shop called Guard West in the Houses of Many Colors, and there is like a tinker who repairs and builds, builds prosthetic parts, repairs machines. Apparently, also builds sentient creatures. That is what you heard. Artificial sentient creatures.
Yeah, so I think I would stop by the chapel first, and then the tinker actually sounds the most intriguing to Saffron of the various rumors and bits of knowledge that Saffron knows about this place.
Awesome. So let's start with Hamish. So the your life burns faster is so there's this gigantic rock with the porcelain citadel on top, and then there's two lakes to each side of the rock, and there's a circle of 8 like columns. They look like I don't know, socialist brutalists statues for some kind of war victory or something like we would find in Yugoslavia. And outside of the ring, there is there's like an adobe building. It is made from clay bricks, but it is painted in different colors. There are flags hanging outside. There are people sitting outside in the shade, drinking all kinds of alcoholic beverages. And when you enter the place, it's like there's this smell of sweat and cigar smoke. There are people sitting on different levels. It looks a little bit as if somebody sold the furniture from 100 different places and just placed it there. So there's this really comfy chairs and wooden chairs. People are playing chess. So there's like a pumping sound from some kind of bass from underground. And my first question for you actually is, how do you know that this is a place that is frequented by anarchists? It's like a black A, the symbol, or is it more subtle?
I think it's about being able to identify the different groups of people and like the sort of allegiances through the small signs, right? Like I think I can see some people who have like one manacle kind of thing, like left around one hand, who are openly betraying them, like putting themselves out there as a member of the Shattered Chain. But then there are other groups as well, like the Crimson Flag or the like various other things,
And they interpret the cause slightly different, but from their perspective, it's like a horrible mistake to not be part of the flag and instead be part of the unshackled manacles and so forth.
Yeah. Again, like groups that would perhaps even be hostile to each other in other areas, but this is like a free ground, like
Exactly. And you can also see that people do read pamphlets or like one-page newspapers with like political theory. But they also have there's like a distinct taste of style in there. It's not These are not the lumpenproletariat. It's the revolutionaries with style, with a bit of flair. And so the guy you were joining, let's pick a name. He introduces you to a group of people who sits in a circle, and one of them sits on one side, and so he has a very distinctive taste in clothing, which is flamboyant, but also stylish. So, Chris, can you give them, like, he's called Cyrus Sensible. Can you give him one piece of flamboyant, stylish clothing?
I think it's these really long earrings. Like there are these like interwoven chains that like dangle down to his chest.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it has some maniacal quality to them. And Puckett, what else is stylish and flamboyant about him?
He's wearing something that's between an ascot and a scarf, like one of the really, really, really long scarves that dangles almost to both ankles, even when it's kind of like bunched up around his neck. So it's tied almost like an ascot would be, but it is so long and sparkly and shimmery and shiny that you can't help but notice it and wonder how this article of clothing doesn't have any dirt on it.
Awesome. He's also sitting there smoking a cigarette, and it's like a jade cigarette holder in the form of a monkey paw. And so when you, Hamish, are introduced by Soren, your comrade, to the group as Hamish, there's a big round of applause, and Cyrus Sensible actually stands up and points to, makes a welcoming gesture towards his right side.
Yeah, well, Hamish, like puts up a fist up into the air for the round of applause, and then just, like nods and sits down next to Cyrus, and is, thanks, lad. Nice place you got here. Nice to see everyone getting along.
I'm very, very proud of this place. A free thinking place. A place for people like you and me.
Aye, well, you might not think it to look at us, but we got more in common than we think, eh? Or than they think, even.
So I've heard stories about you.
I wouldn't believe them.
Well,
unless they're good, obviously.
They're all very good.
Ah, well.
I think this place, I mean, not this place, but the Porcelain Citadel needs a bit more stories, like the violent type. Don't you think?
I think some porcelain could do with being cracked, aye. I've slipped into a different area of the England then with that accent, but okay. So yeah, I think Hamish is. Go on, lad. Tell me, which part of this porcelain city do you think needs to be cracked?
Oh, the topmost part, the part that Yeah, the part
You-
that.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say I usually is the top. Usually pretty nice up there, eh?
Much too nice for my taste, because you can only have that kind of nice a place if others are suffering. Unlike this place burns faster, we have it made nice for all of us.
They've just got it nice for themselves. Well, what are you proposing, pal?
Well, I think if we are smart, we get in, we grab something valuable, and we smash some stuff just to tell them that we're not willing to be under their footheel anymore.
Maybe kill a few of those princes while we're there. Always got more of them, haven't there?
I'm not opposed to killing per se. It's
Well, I mean,
just
if you kill one of the princes, is that even killing?
exactly what you kill is the bodies, and the bodies is us.
Exactly. Well, that might be interested in that. I do find myself at a bit of a I can't think of the word now, but like bit of a downturn in my fortunes, and yeah, it seems like a good crossroads to find you in. Now, would would this be like a thing that I could get the rest of the party involved in? Or like I could take it back to the party and see, like, I'm traveling with a caravan. I need to go check that we're not going to be leaving tonight. I got, people are on my heels, if you know what I mean. But if I've got the time, I'll be talking to you later.
Well, enjoy your stay, and please come back.
Have we all actually met yet?
I assume that you know each other and you have met each other, and you're probably staying at the same, I mean, I hadn't heard otherwise, so I assume that you stay at the Houses of Many Colors because it's relatively cheap.
Yeah, I'm up for knowing each other, like having traveled at least some portion of the previous journey with you guys, but just not, like off camera doing other things. Like I think in the case of Hamish, recovering from the gunshot that put him out of action in the first place.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that the caravan leaving would be a convenient excuse for Hamish to jump on if after doing some damage.
Oh yeah,
that could also work. I mean, how?
I think that like the caravan either way is I need to keep moving, right? I think that there's the vague threat of people, so I think I have been with the caravan, but like the caravan leaving is, Hamish is not really as big a revolutionary and rebel as these things are made about. He's mostly just a criminal, but he does like it to be at the right people, I think.
Well, and with Legion of the Farsight and Yellowlanders move around a lot. We hear a lot of stories. So I think at the very least, I would have heard a story or two about Hamish McRainbow.
Oh yeah, I'm down with I'm down with everybody of having heard of Hamish McRainbow.
And the Legion of the Farsight is iffy. I mean, you haven't killed anyone that they think warrants putting a bounty on you. So the position of Legion of the Farsight is pretty much wait and see. So far, you're kind of Robin Hoody, and that is very much in keeping with the Legion of the Farsight. But
I tried robbing poor people, but no one paid any attention. So
plus there wasn't a lot of money in it.
Yeah. Diminishing returns for sure. Anyways.
Okay, but we do have to settle this for once and for all. So has Hamish, I just assumed in my naivete that you all know each other at least from the Violet City.
Sure.
Sure. I would love that, just because then we don't have to, hi, who are you? Blah, blah, blah.
Introductions are the most boring part. I just want to figure out how. Yeah. I think knowing each other from the Violet City is good. Maybe you showed up at the Porcelain Citadel on your own and you're recovering there.
Mhm.
Hey, why don't you just jump on? Had a couple of people drop off, could use another gun hand type thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Fair?
yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, and so we fade out from the this place burns faster with probably somebody buying a round for the hero of the Redlands.
Sounds good to me.
And we fade into a much more quiet place. It's a small chapel carved into the side of this rock where the porcelain citadel is on, and the chapel is pretty packed. It's really small. There are like candles on one side where you can pay a good money to being allowed to light them. And there is the priest or assistant supervisor who he's named, and he sits on a golden chair. There's all these poor people spending their meager wages on the candles and praying for the money to coming to them, obviously. And have you introduced yourself already, Saffron, to the supervisor?
I don't think so. I think I've just come in to the chapel after we arrived and split up, and I was like, okay, first stop in the chapel.
There's one other detail I wanted to name, and that is behind him. There's like a chart, like some kind of economic chart, probably financial chart, and obviously the arrows go the tendency is always up. And what other elements in the church are there that signify that this is a money religion? That this is about if you have money, you get more money.
So the pews leading up to the altar at the front are of increasing splendor, basically. So the back row there are just like markings on the floor for you to kneel. And then there are wooden pews. And then there are wooden pews that are like stained this rich, deep mahogany, and they have carvings inside the wood. And then there are pews with gold inlays. And then at the very front, because this is the Porcelain City, there are these elaborate porcelain pews.
And I think the first 4 rows are completely empty, and everybody's standing in the back or kneeling actually on the floor.
Yeah, and maybe this is kind of an off. It's a busy day because it's always busy with all the poor people trying to increase their fortunes, but it's technically an off day. There isn't like a big service or anything, so yeah, all of the front rows are just completely empty because they have better things.
Nobody can afford it anyways.
Yeah.
So what does Saffron do?
If the assistant administrator isn't doing anything right now, I would go in and introduce myself.
So he introduces himself as Die Spada, and he says, "May the prophet bless you. How can I help you?"
I am here on a brief stop on a journey. under the orders of the church, and felt it would be worth my time, yours, to stop in and give an update and see if there's anything that the church would like done for the prophet.
Well, I do know that you are traveling under the cockflower flag, and
Yes.
so, but I have heard concerning news about the prosperity of this enterprise. It seems to have made less of a gain than we would have wished.
Yes, but as the words of prophet do state, buy low, sell high, and think long term. We are not terribly far along the journey. Quite a ways to go.
It is true. The early signs are troublesome, but
The hope is that it is but noise along a prosperous trajectory. But
well, I have no doubt that at the end there will be profit. There always is.
we might need to make, or I, towards the end, may need to make drastic decisions, but that is why I'm going along.
Sometimes you have to let go of, the workforce. It is inevitable.
But while I'm here, my companions have gone their separate ways, and I find myself with some spare time that could be used advantageously.
Yes, you should use every spare minute to think about how to increase your profit.
You've done quite well here with, I gesture broadly at all of the people lined up to buy the candles and everything. Like, it's an off day. You have no services scheduled that I could see, and yet the crowd is impressive.
Well, thank you. You should see us at the weekend. It is, you can barely breathe. I would wish, to be honest, to be back in the Emerald City among the architecture that really displays the wealth that the prophet has promised us. But I'm not complaining. I'm just an assistant supervisor. I'm not a supervisor yet. But my time will come.
Yes. Work hard and advance, as they say.
And he makes the he blesses you with like a gesture that has some kind of obviously religious meaning, but how is it related to the financial aspect of that religion?
Oh. Huh. I think like the most basic gesture of like similar to like a Catholic crossing themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 3 upward strokes up the body. So instead of like dousing holy water downwards, it's raising upwards.
Awesome. Okay, and then you wanted to also visit the Guard West, I think, which is the garage / workshop
of this tinkerer who
yes
works on artificial creatures.
And so they're called Lazaro, I think Romano, but I can't read my own. I need to.
I think you said the administrator was Disado and
Dispada, yeah. Hold on a
Disado
second.
is the administrator. And Who was the tinkerer? I don't remember. We had a name for...
Can't read my own handwriting.
A shop named, in Puckett's notes, a shop named Gart West, House of Many Colors.
Yes.
Tinker who builds prosthetics and artificial creatures.
Yes.
I don't recall a name from that, though.
Yeah, I don't think that Tinker had a name.
Um,
Or you didn't give one.
yeah, he has a name.
You just said Lazaro?
Yeah, Lazaro, and then his last name is Romero, Lazaro Romero. And so he wears an overall. He has white hair that is combed back. The whole place is really interesting. So it's it looks as if, well, it is the inside of a like a gigantic sandworm, and that has been cemented into the. So for some reason, it had burrowed itself into the rock, and was just hollowed out and cemented in place. And that's the workshop. And so when you enter there, a lot of mechanical parts on tables. There are these pulleys and chains hanging from the ceiling and mechanical parts attached to them. And Lazaro comes out from the back of the shop, cleans his hands from the oil with a rug, and extends his hands. And I think he cocks an eyebrow. Huh. You're not... I could swear that I've seen you before.
Interesting. With the same makeup.
Oh, of course, of course.
I just nod.
And he's completely overwhelmed. So he's actually trying to touch you. Do you let him?
I'll shake his hand.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I think maybe like he puts out his hand. He put out his hand initially, like default, and then like catches himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd just take the opportunity to just follow through and give like a very normal handshake, even if he's kind of like slack armed now.
Yeah, and he's he's holding your hand a bit longer than comfortable. Oh, this is... I'm really impressed. So may I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
So
I have some questions. I will have some questions for you as well. But
of course.
I'm happy to oblige.
So what kind of processor do you use? Is it the old model? Have you enhanced yourself?
That is not a question that I get often. I must say I'm not 100% sure I get your meaning, but it is very old.
I would love to look under the what is it called? Like, can I have a look?
I think this kind of throws Saffron off a bit because
he's definitely very straightforward.
Yeah, well, it's not even like it's not even like a manners thing throwing Saffron off. It's like Saffron doesn't do maintenance like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like going under the hood and tinkering with stuff is what you do for like a motorbike or
Yes. It's definitely treating you a little bit,
a robot.
yeah, as an object of like fascination, obviously,
Sure.
but still an object, not a person.
I think Saffron kind of pulls themselves together a bit and is like, I mean, the outer layer, and I like kind of pull my robe up a little and like pull at the skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's just silicone membrane.
I know.
It's mine, but it is easy enough to peek underneath. I must admit, I would be curious of what you think you will learn.
Oh,
Why the curiosity?
I could learn so much. What I'm doing is child's play to what, them knew.
Well, we may be in alignment of our goals here then.
But you had a question for me.
Well, first of all, I'd heard, I guess maybe not that much rumor, but what I had thought were rumors, that you were able to place not spirits, but start up artificial beings.
Yes, I can.
Artificial bodies, prosthetics, and I was curious what sorts of things you had placed within.
I sometimes play jokes with the upper class of the Porcelain Citadel and give consciousness to tools that shouldn't have.
Like a dilapidated motorbike that can laugh at you.
Exactly. Like, obviously, that consciousness is very limited, but enough to throw them off.
But I guess as potentially my second question, for keeping count, how? You say consciousness. Consciousness is a very specific word choice.
Well, I show you. And he leads you into the back of his garage, where there are like tanks of there this a limbic, I think it's called, like strange containers to create certain types of liquids and jellies and slime and petri dishes and so forth. And he says, this is how I work. They have interesting properties. And I wouldn't be surprised if you also see like I don't know, a flask with black oil, black gold as well.
Yeah. So it is more seed the growth of something and see what pops out.
Yes, and sometimes it turns into a beautiful butterfly, and more often than not, it stays the bug that it always was.
I think I understand, at least the gist of it. Intriguing. I mean, so to put my cards on the table a bit, I only plan to be in the Porcelain City for at most a week. We're passing through on a longer journey.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love the opportunity to assist you and learn what I can.
I would be delighted if you could join me for just 1 week.
Sounds like a deal.
Awesome. And mechanically, this could be study if you want. You can study a thing. It could also be just work. It could be
study, I think, would be the interesting bit. And potentially this would be a place I could also stay.
Definitely.
Just as like, hey, I'm studying here and doing, like, you're not paying me, but I get to learn, but you're also like letting me crash in the corner.
Awesome. And again, you can get XP for studying things in the UVG.
Cool.
All right. And I think let's have at least one scene where all the characters are together and you're planning your next step. So where would that be? In the Place Burns Faster? Would it be where you stay in the Houses of Many Colors?
How is Hamish feeling about the revolutionaries and stuff?
That it could be a good way of getting some profit from this place before we head on. You know, like we're leaving, right? Like as long as we stay one step ahead of the porcelain people, then big deal, right? You know,
or just I guess in the sense of like you feel like enough goodwill from them that we could meet up there and have a meeting and hang out, and it would be safe and good.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So
let's
set the scene there. You're at the House Burns Faster. I think Nida had a pretty. So you worked at the Broken Line, and your day was pretty disillusioning. So it's this horrible place. There are people between living and dying. They are completely brain dead, so they have lost all their cognitive functions, and they're held there as horrible as cattle or something. And your job is to go from person to person. If they are still alive, they get some kind of nutritious I don't know, slime, and if they are dead, you drag them out and throw them into a pit. So that's the state you're in when you enter the revolutionary bar. And we see the three characters, sitting in this very lively place. There's music, there are people laughing and talking. Behind you, they discuss how best you make hand grenades, and on the other side, they talk about the aesthetic of the revolution, the beauty of the people moving as one. And so in between the three of you.
So these lads have put me onto what might be a good score. Get something from this place before we hit the road, but we'd have to leave fast.
Define fast.
Probably same night, maybe next morning, but don't linger around for anyone to join the dots. Let's say it could all go really well, but I predict there could be a little bit of a fallout from it.
And then we wouldn't want to come back through.
Well, I mean, I don't want to come back through anyway, but
yeah, I don't want to come back here. This place
Rough week.
Is burning this entire place to the ground and then kicking the ashes an option?
Well, I mean, depends on our hand. Things get, stranger things have happened. You think it's a simple job, and then the next thing you know, the whole place is on fire. Could easily happen. Yeah?
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Stone and porcelain doesn't typically burn, but if you apply the right chemicals.
Oh, well, sounds like you've already got a plan then.
I mean, everything explodes, right? That's just science.
Right, well, they're talking about breaking into the palace, getting some good stuff out, and then, they go their way, we go our way.
Is this stuff that we would have to find a buyer for, that we'd have to sell on our own? Because generally speaking, if you're stealing something from a palace, that could be it could be noticeable. That might be difficult to. I need a drink.
Ah, yeah, of course you need a drink. Cyrus, you got one for my friend here. You want one? You drink.
And Cyrus comes, sits next to you, Hamish, and he has some other flamboyant clothes than the last time, and other jewelry, and he snaps his finger and makes like a swirling motion, and you get like, I don't know, some kind of blue iridescent, what is it called? Like glowing drink with straws.
Flashy.
And it says, so these are your friends.
Oh, yeah. Fellow travelers. This is Saffron, and this is Nada.
I pull the straw out of the drink and just down it in one gulp.
I'm picturing this like tiki drink level, and you just like took all the straws out and are just like.
I'm thinking curly straws, like.
Definitely curly straws.
Yeah.
I like your style. What was your name again?
Mine?
Yes.
Nida.
Huh. So,
do you have more alcohol?
Oh, of course.
It's been a day.
Well, it might be about to be a night, so maybe pace yourself.
If you want me functional, I'll need at least 2 more drinks like that one.
Yeah, I had an uncle who was a bit like that. Needed 2 drinks before he was functional. Say no more.
Did your uncle drag bodies to pits?
Actually, and he launches into a story about his uncle and the black pits. But yes.
Okay. Yeah, your uncle was right.
Sounds like we're taking the job, though, right? You guys up for that?
So,
yeah. And I look at
Cyrus.
Ajax, you okay with that?
So there's this. Is it pink? A pink cat with a like a thorned tail, jumping on the table, and he goes close to your face, so that his nose would touch yours, and you hear in your head, after this shitty day, I'm really up for smashing something.
Awesome. You really are the best exiled cat lord, aren't you?
I'm probably one of the only ones. And so Cyrus, and that is maybe the last scene before the break, gets out like a map of the palace and its surroundings, and he points to the point of entrance. Should we take like let's say 6 minutes break until half or longer? What do you think?
6 is fine.
Okay, cool.
Good with that. See you in a few.
Cool.
So, Will, have you been to the Berghain?
Yeah, we went to Berlin in October. We
Uh-huh.
went to Bergheim. That was fun.
And
The whole queuing up was weird, like, and the bouncer and the whole like loads of people just not getting in and then just letting us through. And we're like, what the fuck?
yeah, he's called the Hellhound or something.
Yeah, Sergey or something like that, or Sven, like something like that. All my friends are really into techno. I can take it. I can take it or leave it, you know. Like, but I wanted to go to Berlin, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And it was fun. But
Cool.
like, you know, they all knew all about this place, and I looked at the website and was like, what?
What is even going on?
Yeah, it was good though.
Okay, cool. So I don't know. In the break, I thought let's start in medias res, a bit Blades in the Dark style. So you pick a way of entry. So what did, in general, what did Sensible pointed out? Is it like a tunnel through like an old maintenance tunnel? Is it like a surface that you can climb? Some kind of is there somebody who lets you in? Are you disguised as, I don't know, waiter? So what's the general entry?
I think part of it involves a distraction to draw the
Mhm.
attention of the guards.
Mm.
What I was thinking about during the break is that the broken line needs to really, really desperately needs to not exist anymore. And so wiring it with explosives and blowing it to hell, I think would be a really fun distraction.
Yeah, well, I'm game for that being the distraction as we make to help us make our escape. I was thinking maybe that's perhaps the thing that we're going to break up, even, you know, like
Mhm.
the destruction that they're asking for to send the message, and we're stealing the goods to sort of send a deeper message, you know, that your things belong to us, kind of stuff. I was thinking maybe the access could be like some sort of like like steampunk ceramics kind of abandoned like lift, like maybe like a kind of freight elevator type thing, right? But we're in like
Mhm.
a fallen world sort of situation, right? So this is like derelict and connects with
Yeah,
some tunnels in the city, you know. So we in and then up from there, kind of stuff. Does that sound good?
definitely. Um, so this seems to be like a multi-layered plan. How do you plan to blow? So is the plan to blow up the broken line with the people in still being in? Do you lead them out? What's the exact plan?
There are people in the broken line.
Yeah, the broken line, they're bodies, and so maybe I wasn't clear enough, but these are the poly bodies that the princes use, and after they're used, their mind is just blown.
Right. So basically, there's nobody in there with any kind of brain function, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. Then what's the point of leading them out of there?
Hmm.
I mean,
And
all the material in there is keeping them alive. So if we drag them out, they'd be dead anyway.
that is
This way,
true.
we deprive the porcelain princes of bodies. We wreck some of their infrastructure. Well, I don't know that we're actually liberating the people who are trapped in there, but they're not going to be there anymore.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that place needs to not exist.
I know that you seem to feel pretty strongly about it. So I mean, anyways is good to me. So if you want to blow it up, go.
And I look at you, and it's that kind of look where you know that person has seen things that no one should see and things that should not exist. Like it's not quite 1,000-yard stare. It's more like looking into a very deep, empty grave.
harrowed, suitably quietened by that, I think. But yeah, I feel like Nida having just been there would also be a good way to get those explosives in, perhaps, you know?
So where do you get the explosive from?
Saffron, you seem to be mad scientist, chemically type.
I don't know if I can.
There's
I could
kerosene and manure around.
Yeah, it's possible.
We are also surrounded by a bunch of anarchists.
Yeah, I was like, the obvious, maybe the materialist answer is we have a bunch of anarchists and we could put in a request for some charges. The other option would be.
See, I'm almost kind of imagining it as we send off this group of people to do the distraction whilst we break in. And maybe part of our deal is that we're going to drop off some portion of the goods with them as well, which also gives us a chance to double cross them for that if anyone is interested in that down the line. I haven't decided on that, right? But
Well, a bunch of anarchists should relish the thought of striking a blow at capitalist infrastructure of whatever sort exists in this post-apocalyptic entity world.
Yeah, it's aristocratic infrastructure, I would say.
Even worse.
Even worse. Still, I would like to see, like, I feel like something could go wrong with sending a group of anarchists with explosive in a direction.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe, so Hamish would be the most like logical person to persuade them to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it could either be me persuading them, or perhaps it could be Nida's like intel on how to blow it. You know what I mean? Like where to put it, or whatever.
Yes, where to put the.
But I'm easy with whatever role. I just obviously I don't know how the roles work.
Yeah, the question is who does it. It's the roles is the second question then.
Yeah,
like,
Wouldn't that be a role for what is it, charm?
It could be like indeed like persuading the anarchists would be charm, definitely.
I'm good with rolling charm for anarchists. I think 10 seems like a decent enough score, right?
Well, let's remember the shattered.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Does anyone have the dice roller? Sorry, or they can roll for me because I'm afraid I have just lost. No, found it again. Great.
So what you have to roll is you roll a d20 on your charisma. And if your shattered chain comes into play, you roll 2d20 and pick the better result.
I think shattered chain comes into play here. So
it does.
I get a 13 and a 2.
And the 2 is definitely a success.
Nice.
So yeah, I think so what do you tell them?
So sensible. We've been looking at, we reckon we're going to go up here through the sewers, up through that lift that you pointed out, you know, the old, quite disused one. But it's going to be, you know, it's the palace. In my experience, best way to make sure that the guards don't catch you is to make sure they're looking somewhere else. Now, I think you get some of your lads and some of this nice stuff that they've got brewing over there. You get some of it packed in somewhere that's going to blow up nice, right? And maybe somewhere that's going to be a good symbol of what we want to do here. You know, what was that you were telling me about, Nida? The black, what was it again? You said that sounded like a really good target, so it did.
It's a broken line.
Aye, the broken line. Yeah, pack that place to the rafters and put it on a timer maybe. Don't blow yourselves up and out, but make it clear it's gone.
And so while you were talking, Cyrus was waving a couple of pretty stereotypical anarchists in like these black robes. There's something typical with them. Chris, what is it? Like they're anarchists. They're clad in black, but there's something unusual about them. You know these pictures from like the 19th century, I don't know, the secret agent kind of vibe.
I think it's the colors of their eyes. So they both have these kind of off purple irises that they like, their eyes match exactly. And there's like this inkling that I've seen, this is like a hereditary trait that I've seen somewhere before.
I think I've lost you for a second.
Oop.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. A bit of a funky connection I have at the moment, but I think I got that they have like this. The iris is purple.
Yeah. So their eyes are this like kind of off purple color, and they match. And I'm like, oh, this. Something about this is reminding me of some hereditary trait that I'd heard about somewhere, but I like what that connection is.
And
that's weird.
Yes. It could be maybe that they're on drugs, or it could be like artificial eyes, maybe. But in any case, when Hamish mentions the broken actually neither mentions the broken line, their jaws clench a little bit, and if they get told that they should blow it up, their eyes light up, and they sneak out of the establishment. And I think the next scene is we see you already in this claustrophobic tunnel in some kind of like service elevator that is like super small and cramped. And the gigantic broadsword of Hamish is like stuck somehow, and you all move around it. And there's the cat and its tail in your faces. And let's see what the position is in when you come out of the elevator. So I don't know if it's some kind of fortune roll. Let's see. I mean who. I want to say, is it maybe a straight up safe? Doesn't sound right. Let's see. I think it is in UVG terms, it's a luck roll to see if at the moment when you come out, is there like a guard or something? And that would be charisma. So let's have maybe Hamish, because you're somehow the leader of the group at the moment.
Yeah, well, I got them into this job, didn't I? So that's a 20, right?
Yeah, it's just a straight D20, and then under your charisma to see.
I roll a nat 20.
Okay, no, that's a fumble. So I think what happens is you sneak out, like obviously you look around to see whether or not. So the service elevator actually ends up in the palace. So it was probably used to transport goods to the kitchen or something.
Yeah.
And so you're in the kitchen, and it's dark. You don't hear anything, but when you come out of the service elevator, you hear. I think you hear a siren. So you have to obviously there was some kind of light or other kind of alarm that you tripped, and there's this wailing sound. Like it sounds like an air shelter alarm. What do you do?
Shit. The
kitchen has several exits and entrances.
Well,
if our distraction worked, then
yeah,
we just need to be really quick.
Yeah, we have the map as well, so we're going to go to somewhere that we picked out as being a likely place to find something valuable, like maybe a
treasury.
Yeah, the treasury. We can go straight. You know what I was going to say? Maybe the vault's going to be too secure, but let's just go straight for the treasury. You know, like go running, smash and grab.
Okay, so just roll me a d30.
Does someone else want to roll, please?
Yes. Let's see, d30. I can do it as well. How do we do that?
1 second. Okay, so turn funky dice on.
Oh yeah, that's it.
There's D.
There's a website called Roll a Die as well, where you can just roll. Like you can type in whatever dice you want and roll it. You can't all see the same thing.
Okay, that was not it.
That was definitely not it.
I can roll a d30 using this web page if anyone wants. Like,
yes, please.
Yeah, I'll put the link to it as well. Cause it seems like Ultraviolet
right here.
Oh, cool.
So that gives us 19.
19.
Let's see. So yeah, you're in the you exit the light kitchen where you were in, and you think that the magical cooking appliances that are strewn about the room that you're in at the moment would net in 2,000, but it's also pretty bulky. It's 3 sacks.
How many sacks do we have?
Like you can carry a sack a person.
Oh, okay. So that would be our entire carrying would be this stuff. 2,000 gold seems like a lot, but it also seems like maybe we could find better and more stuff. Like
definitely.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, should we go further, deeper, get some fancier stuff than just? I do quite like the idea of taking away this cooking equipment that is the key method of the only way, like doing a creme brulee properly with a blowtorch, like what the porcelain prince.
Without
like.
that,
did we happen to get any explosives we can carry with us from the anarchist?
Yes, I would say that you have a hand grenade.
Just one?
Mm-hmm.
Could always use the grenade. Blow it to hell.
We can push like just a little bit further, but we might need to call it, take what we can get and get out.
Great. Push on, come on, lads. And he picks up an apple from the table in the kitchen and walks in whistling. We could blow up more stuff later, Nida, on the way out.
Yes.
I just really want to suffer.
So you want to push further? You do hear boots approaching the. Like you are in the main kitchen, and from the main kitchen there's the what's it called, the hallway, and then there's also like a door to the super fancy dining room, and you do hear noises from the hallway approaching. So you can either take the hallway and then run for it in the direction of the treasury, or move through different rooms.
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 Okay, so let's have another. Oh, let's see. It's a dining room actually.
Steal the silverware.
Yeah.
It'll be
So-
silverware or platinum or something
yeah.
ridiculous.
So the room is furnished in the Red Empire minimalism style. There is silverware on the table, but there's also gloriously spongiform molded chairs, but they are very bulky.
Just sweep up the silverware as we go up the table.
Okay, you can write down these are 100, and they weigh 4 stones. 4 stones, like 10 stones is 1 sack, so you can carry 6 more stones.
Okay, I'll carry the silverware. 6 more.
And the moment where you sweep up the silverware, the door to the dining room opens, and in the frame there is, let's see, there are 4 figures. And how do they look like? Doesn't really say. So there are 4 identical bodies. The 4 of them, they wear porcelain masks, and they have whips on their belt, and they get out their whips, and I think this is a combat situation.
Grenade.
let's
No, not the grenade.
roll.
Not the grenade.
I think we do the old-fashioned thing. Some of you people have probably never done it, but it's called roll for initiative, and it's a d6, and you add your dexterity modifier, and we do it inside. So one of you rolls a d6, and I roll for the monsters. Will, you're muted.
Sorry, who's got the highest modifier? Like for initiative?
Not me.
Dex, is it?
I have a dex of 5.
I got 12.
I think you're the
that-
highest of those who are here.
Yeah, I think I have
12 is 0.
Oh, then yeah.
But it's better than a 5.
But I guess
So
it's the same as it's 11 as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how the bonuses work in this.
Yeah, it's the same. They're both 0.
Okay. Pocket, would you like to roll for initiative?
Nah, go ahead.
Okay.
Disclaim responsibility for
Yeah.
the initiative roll.
2.
Oh, that is funny because I rolled a 2 as well. So we all act at the same time, and they get their whips out and whip you good.
Well, bye guys.
So let's see. What are you guys doing?
Kicking them, throwing a chair at them. If that's something that I can do in this system.
Yeah, you can definitely. You can kick a chair, definitely. You can do one minor action. You can move to, in this case, to a different area maybe, and you can attack.
Yeah.
You can also fight defensively. That would increase your AC.
Okay. Well, I think that maybe rather than throwing the chair, I'm going to fight defensively by holding the chair up and trying to ward off the whips with it. You know.
Awesome. And what is the rest doing? What is Nida doing and Chris and Saffron?
Saffron's probably backing up and trying to shoot one of them with their crossbow.
Awesome. So
Hanging
you're
back.
shooting. And are you also fighting defensively? Because you said that they moved back. Or is it mere to get a distance?
Yeah, to get distance of like,
Okay.
I don't need to be on the front lines of this.
Mm-hmm.
I am way less invested in this venture than everyone else.
Have they
Yes.
made it out of the elevator yet?
Yes. Ajax is out of the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean the guards that are coming in.
Say it again.
Have the guards that were in the lift or they were coming through the door, have they made it out yet into the room?
Yes. They came not from the lift, but from the hallway. So they opened the door, they stand in the hallway, or in the room, and then they get the whips out, and they're attacking at the same time that you do something.
I want to basically swing at them with my staff of fused pistols.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And since there's a group of them, I'm being non-particular as to which one I'm targeting. I'm just targeting the group.
Right. So, so they attack. Let's see. We start with Hamish, and your let's see. If you fight defensively, your AV is increased by 2. Let's see. My eyes. Fight defensively. Take -2 AV. Or -1 AV. You can decide how you fight defensively. So you can say your AV is reduced by 2, but your AC is also increased by 2, or the same thing with 1.
I'll go for the 2.
Okay, cool. So we start with 20. Oh, I rolled a D30. That's not what I wanted to do. No, they don't hit. So the first one doesn't hit Hamish. Hamish parries the attack with a chair.
I would like to be trying my hardest to be like
the same.
target.
Okay. You're trying to draw all the
yeah, I
attention
mean,
to
like
you.
not all of them, but you know what I mean. Like if there's a decision between which PC to attack, like I think Hamish kind of like jumped in front with a chair, you know, like big and loud kind of thing.
Okay.
So Hamish is trying to pull aggro?
Pretty much, yeah. Be a distraction, effectively, more than anything else.
So the one that attacked Nida, but was slightly distracted by Hamish, also doesn't hit. And then the last one that is trying to hit Saffron. Let's see. Ooh, that. What's your AC?
I just have light robes, so my AC is 1.
Yeah, it's 1.
So positioning wise,
yes.
I guess I'm not following how were they like breaking through to us, or did they have us surrounded?
No. They enter as a group. They like eerily in like in synchronicity. Is that a word? Can you hear me?
Synchronicity.
Hello?
But we did
Okay.
it at the same. We did it at the same time. So,
So
they're going.
I didn't have a chance to back
Yeah.
off yet,
So,
basically.
like,
Okay.
they're going. You know, your whole running away is happening at the same time as them leaping forward and attacking you, kind of
Okay.
stuff. Like,
Gotcha.
Okay, so the neural whip would make. Where is it? A D8. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That can't be good.
It's only a like 1/3 chance of killing me.
Well, that's a 5.
Ow. But I'm still standing.
So the whip makes this cracking noise, and it hits you over your chin, leaves like a scorch mark,
Mm.
and you do feel like it's a little bit as if a dentist hits your nerve.
Ow.
So what do you do, Saffron?
I think if I'm able to, like, you know, they are like lunging forward to catch me with the whip as I'm like backing off, and I think I try to like get around to the far end of the table and just launch a bolt straight into the one who hit me.
Nice. Make it so.
Okay, so this is just a d20 roll.
Yes, under your AV,
Okay.
and they have an AC of 2.
All right. Roll 20. Ugh. Okay, that's a 13, which is my AV is 10, and with an AC of 2, then no.
Yeah, the way I envision it is that it's just like you're shooting more or less at the same time when you get hit, and obviously that's why
Throws me
the
off.
bolt. Yeah, exactly. And neither was hitting one of them the same time. They tried to hit Hamish, I think.
Yeah, I was swinging my fused pistol staff into the group.
Make your roll.
Under AV, over AC.
Yes.
That's a 3.
That hits. Roll your damage.
It's D6 for damage, I think. Let me double check. D6 messy.
Yeah.
That's a 5.
Oh wow. You actually do kill one of them. So describe how the mace kills the porcelain prince.
I swing it overhand, and it comes down on his head with a sickening crunch, and his skull caves in, splattering blood and bone and everything else over the neighboring princes.
And obviously the porcelain mask also shatters, and you can see under the mask the face of a yellow lander. So the next round, and because I like old school fights to be short and deadly. So everyone increases, including the monsters, increase their damage by 1. So let's roll for initiative again.
We're rolling D6.
Yes.
What the hell?
I have a 4.
Do any of you want to roll, or do you want me to roll for initiative?
you go for it, okay.
That's a 4.
Nice.
So it's again at the same time. Crazy. What do you do?
How did defensive
So they
fighting
will.
work, by the way? So am I now 2 AV and 2 AC for this round as well, and now I can attack, right?
No, you can always. Oh, I didn't understand what you wanted to do. So the way it works is if you didn't attack in the first round for whatever reasons, in this case because you misunderstood what I said,
I
you
just
can
don't know how
be
defensive fighting works. Like,
you can be the first to attack now
Mhm.
if you want to. So before everything else happens, you can attack.
Mhm.
Fighting defensively just means that you get a higher AC, but the chance of you hitting is also reduced. So you have a lower chance of hitting. Your
Yeah.
attack value is reduced by 2,
Yeah.
but you're also more likely to not be hit, or less likely to being hit.
Yeah, I mean the chair thing was just like how I was fighting defensively kind of thing,
Okay, okay.
And then like because I didn't know if whether fighting defensively was like a full move versus like a mode kind of thing,
it
but
is
it
a
feels more
mode.
like a mode, yeah.
But because you didn't attack the last round, you can be the first to do something.
Cool. Well, I would like. Yeah, sorry.
Is there any kind of demoralizing effect that happens from the messy?
Yeah. I say yes. So indeed, because the brain liquid just hits the others. I make a morale check.
Things have morale. That's interesting.
Yeah. It would be an 8. Where's my D20 at? They do make it. 12 on a 13. So they seem to be shaken, but not completely deterred.
Does that affect their hit rolls or anything like that?
No, only if they would fail, then they would, beg for mercy, run away, wait for, new bodies coming in.
Okay.
So when I go to attack them, right, I'm rolling under my AV. Is that right? And
Yes.
there. My AV as a strength is 11 plus strength, I think, according to the sheet. And I have a 14 in strength. I don't know what when the bonuses start coming in with the stats, because if this was D&D, right, I'd have +2 in 5e, for example, right?
I think it is straight AV. I don't think that you have a bonus from.
If I look on that, strong
The cheat
attack
sheet?
value equals 11 plus strength bonus on the
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Awesome.
So +1 at 13.
Nice.
Cool.
So your AV is actually 12.
Nice. So it's 10 now, thanks to my fighting defensively.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, you can. I think you can per round decide if you want to still fight defensively.
I definitely would still fight defensively.
Okay.
I am 1 hit away from dying for sure.
Okay.
But I'm going to attack the one that attacks Saffron.
Yes.
And I got an 8, which I think is both under my AV and over their AC.
Yes, roll your damage.
Which is 2d6 plus 2, I think. That is 9 points of damage.
Holy shit. Yeah, you would have to reduce the 2 damage, but it's still 7 kills them dead.
Oh, I get +1 as well from the escalation effect, so yeah.
So it's still 8.
Yeah.
How do you kill the other prince?
I think the one that attacked me, the whip pulls the chair out of my hand just as Nida comes and smashes its head with the staff. And then as the chair gets whipped out of my hand, I just spin around and whip out the sword and smash it into the head of the one that had just attacked Saffron, as it's backing away. Yeah.
And that definitely makes them do another morale check, because now the half of them is dead.
And since you're a strong, if you're still adjacent to the third one, you get a free attack.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, that is true. You can just follow through.
Yeah, you get to cleave.
Nice. I would
With
love to
your
do that.
massive sword.
Yeah, I am a glass cannon, it seems. No, that one didn't go so well. I got 17.
Okay. But yeah, they're holding the line. So they're moving the two. Well, there's one left actually, and he's moving, or they're moving back. Like they're trying to retreat. What do you do?
I'm going to crush him.
Okay. Make your attack roll.
That's an 8.
That's definitely a hit. And then roll for damage, please.
That's a 6. What the hell? I have never rolled this well.
Holy shit. And so, how does that look like? Is it again a hit on the head?
Nida has a death mask of blood on her face at this point, and swings it overhand again, and basically drives it through the guard's skull, down and through his collarbone, and into his breastbone, shattering the mask, crushing his skull, and just crumpling him like a piece of paper.
You hear Ajax in your head. Are you still okay?
I haven't been okay since I went into the broken line.
Okay, so there's the howling of the alarm still, but you don't hear any footsteps. Do you go straight to the vault, I think?
Do we see any way to turn off the alarm?
Make a perception check, like a wisdom check, please.
All right. So who has the highest?
I
wisdom
mean,
check.
I was backing off from the fight after I got hit, so it would and I have high wisdom, so it would make sense that I'd been kind of like, okay, shit, what's our next play?
Yeah.
What's our next move? What are these alarms?
I
I
throw you the map, and I'm like, how do we shut that alarm off? And
yeah. The combination of being like, oh, maybe there's something on here that will tell us something, plus maybe I can figure it out. Yeah. So is this just is perception check just a straight ability roll?
Yeah, it would be a wisdom check.
Okay.
Let's see. That's
so just
yeah,
D20 against my
yes.
Okay.
Against your wisdom.
Right.
Equal or lower.
Is there any modifier on the wisdom at 15?
It's higher, so it's easier to succeed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so
it's 15 or lower.
I rolled a 19 because I have
no. Okay, so
we just need to hurry.
Yes.
That's what I say. I'm just like, we just need to hurry and get out.
Right. Vault.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. I think yeah, exactly. We see like a scene of you Scooby-Dooing, but is it through the hallways because it's quicker, but it's also in the open, or is it more like sneaky through a couple of rooms?
I think we continue with our room. We close the doors, like the hallway doors, right?
Yeah.
So these guys are just inside here. There's no sign of it outside the doors because we kept it all in here. And I think I'm gonna shove like one of the like some sort of like rod or something through, like snap one of the pieces of the chair like through the doors to keep it locked, barred shut.
Awesome.
And then we're gonna carry on running through the rooms, but like quick, not like cautious, like not sneaky, but kind of like every time we burst through a room, we're ready for like something on the other side, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're not looking for treasure on the way.
If anything jumps out at us, maybe like if we pass like the Hope Diamond, maybe we'll be like, yeah, let's grab that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you pass the next room, and nothing springs out, and I think through something like a master bedroom, maybe. You come to the main staircase, and in the main staircase, there's like a ornate chandelier that could be worth something, but it's also like improbably big. You can still smash it. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say, if somebody wants to put a bolt through the chain holding it up so it's broken and they can't use it, that's fine. That's cool.
On the way out. Maybe no one's heard it. You know.
Useful if we're being followed and we need it.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, like.
Whoa. And then you follow the staircase down, and you're in front of this big like metal door with it's like a safe room with a gigantic handle and turning wheels.
Okay, let's get in there.
How do you
Well, I mean,
do that?
maybe it's just turning wheels, and it's just a case of you just have to wind the door open, you know. And the idea is that there would never be, there would always be guards here, right? But they're not here, so we're free to just pull it open, kind of thing.
Yeah, you try to pull it open, and it is closed.
Where's the lock?
So there's a combination. I think. I mean, if you have like superhuman hearing, you can maybe hear the clicks if you have some kind of experience with these kinds of safe doors.
Saffron, can't you don't you have some sort of machine nature that you can reach into other machines and interact with their machine nature?
I am both exceptionally unprepared for this situation and in excruciating pain right now.
Yeah, so at the best of all possible times to get it over with, then, really.
Otherwise, I would.
I mean, what you have.
Melt it open, but also not in a great position right now.
Well, if I heal you up, can you actually open the door? Because I do have this handy dandy healing salve here.
So, stepping out of this a little is,
Yeah.
I don't have either of my useful miracles actually active.
Doodle,
I mean,
need-
you could argue that.
Yeah, for the combination, right? Like finding the right place for it to rest within the.
Yeah, we could douse through the combination instead of interfacing with the lock. We could douse through the combination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could try.
I think that. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. But it still costs you, I would say, a D4 on a hit point.
Okay.
Oh, so that's how spells work, is hit points.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's why me being at 1 HP means I can't use miracles.
Well, Puckett does have this 2d6 healing potion that you want to give you.
Yeah, if we're that set on getting into this vault instead of just taking the appliances and running.
I want to get into that vault, for sure. Like,
So,
obviously, if you only have like 4 HP by the end of this roll, don't do that.
1 in 4 chance of coming out alive. Or I mean, three quarters chance of coming out alive, 1/4 chance of dying. Yeah. Okay, so how does this? Just roll 2d6.
Yeah, you roll the HP that you get back.
Yeah, and that's how much I regain. Okay. Let's grab these 2d6 here and reroll them. Okay, that's 7, which I think is more than my max, or my, I don't know. So I can only go up to.
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
could have.
Exactly.
Okay,
But
so I rolled a
you're at
d6
6.
plus 1.
You had 6, I think, before, because you took 5 hit points of damage, didn't you?
Yes.
And then you had 1 left over, so it must have been 6 originally.
Okay. Just because there isn't a separate like max HP tracking for this. But okay. Yeah.
And I think it is still how does it work? It's not. I would say that through your like superhuman dowsing in this case, you can hear when the
Pins
wheels
set.
click.
Yeah.
And so oh, I rolled the d4 for your pain,
Okay.
obviously. And it's 1 HP.
I'll take it.
You open up the vault door, which is super heavy. I think Hamish and Nida probably have to help as well.
Mm-hmm.
And behind it, there are several things. So the one thing that dominates the room is a pristine porcelain walker, which is probably the porcelain walker is like a two-legged mechanical creature with a dome. It fits 4 people and 4 sacks if you use it as a transport thing.
There's our way out.
So a crate of yeah. Uh, let's see. There's also a crate of machine parts. And the last thing is I think they are I'll just say there's a portrait on the wall of one of the porcelain princes with a very ornate frame as well. So there's the picture, the walker, and a crate with reusable machine parts.
So, I'm just conscious of the time because we're coming up to 9:30.
Yeah.
I'm totally happy with. I mean, in fact, I'm in love with the idea of stealing this walker, loading it up with everything in here, and either riding it out or it sounds because I guess we can carry our stuff in the walker, right? Like our storage.
Yeah.
So if that's doable, but if we need to load the walker up with the stuff and then get out, but I'm happy with whatever resolution. Let's just try and get the walker out.
No,
Perfect.
that sounds awesome. As like a final scene, so we see there's a quiet. No, well, not that quiet. You see the porcelain citadel. Yes.
With the walker, can we stop by the kitchen and grab that expensive machine?
Yes, the kitchen appliances, definitely.
If we have time on the way out, that would be the way to carry a whole bunch of crap on the way out.
So you do that. You obviously jump into the walker, get accustomed to the controls. Grab
Can I take a neural whip as well?
Yeah, definitely. There are 4. There are 3 neural whips.
Oh, sweet. Let's all get one.
Perfect. I wanted one during CareGen, but I didn't have enough coin.
So we see that picture from the outside. It's you hear the wailing of the sirens, and then there is this almost an explosion. The gate to the stairs that lead up to the porcelain citadel breaks open, and the porcelain walker stamps outside, laden with loot and our 3 heroes. And I think you probably need to get your mules ready and the motorcycle And so the last picture we actually see is the caravan leading the Porcelain Citadel in haste.
Yeah.
Now, could we leave the walker with the anarchists as their payment?
Yeah, if you don't want to take it with us. I don't know how the like the overland, like the whole point of having a caravan and stuff is. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we're in need of
walker
something
would-
like a walker.
Our porcelain walker, that porcelain walker would make us kind of noticeable.
It is, but it's not the first porcelain walker that you've seen. So, for example, in the high road and the low, you've seen one as well, and that was not in use by a porcelain prince. So there are others in use, but
If we
and then
tag it
if
up,
there's like
if we like spray paint over the royal seal,
Yeah.
seal on the side and stuff, then.
exactly,
yeah. But I'm happy to leave it if it's, you know what I mean. Like maybe the decision is whether or not we're going to rip off the anarchists. I think maybe I'm happy to have like a rendezvous point somewhere where we pass on some of the stuff, you know.
They bring us some supplies and we do our exchange there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think given our desire to be out quick without being completely unprepared, the idea of leaving on good terms with them, giving them a cut and getting supplies and stuff is...
Yeah, and they can run interference for us, perhaps, like back
Yeah.
in the Porcelain City, rather than just be like, it was definitely those guys. Go after those guys. Like,
Yeah.
What kind of value does the creative machine parts have, and what use does it have?
well, it can either use to be spare parts for the walker, or it has like a material value of 200 cash.
Okay.
we can give them
could-
the cooking stuff, maybe. Or some
Do
chairs.
you want to give it to them, or do you want to split it with them?
Ooh.
We also have the fancy painting.
And the chairs.
And we threw all the chairs, except
Have
the
you
broken
taken
one.
the chairs as well?
Well, I
Well,
mean,
also the silverware.
I tell you what, we took one chair so that they can put it in the burns faster.
Life
yeah.
burns faster.
Life
yeah,
burns
yeah,
faster.
definitely. They will like that.
Suitably flashy and...
I would like to give them the minimum that we can get away with giving them, including the chair. Because I think that's in character with Hamish mostly being about the money
Yeah.
when it comes down to it.
And they will sing songs regardless. They will say, well, what a nice bloke.
Yeah. And I guess Snyder's happy. The end of the line, was it? The broken line.
Broken line is gone.
Gone.
Good thing I documented it beforehand.
That is true.